win or lose, I'm quitting Blitzball. But you know, since we're here, we might as well win.
Hey guys, y'all remember like 2 months ago we did the FF relay race?
Hell yeah.
And I may have completed FF5 in the slowest time between the 3 racers, but I just wanted to let you all know I let them win. I let them win because I intentionally threw it so that they would stand a chance. And you know what? You two are the only ones who are ever going to know about that. Because what are the chances we'll actually ever have to talk to one of those two again?
I do wonder.
Oh, no! This is the Every F and FF podcast. I'm Curtis.
I'm Carl.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Mrzwanzig.
Mr. Mrzwanzig!
Hooray!
Legend. The man, the myth, the legend. On our little pod, in our little town.
Localized entirely within this internet.
What's going on, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Quite good.
So, I guess for the uninitiated, who are you?
So I'm mostly people know me for speedruns. I am I don't know. I'm from the Netherlands. I started playing FF sometime in my teens with FF7. You know, got stuck on Guard Scorpion because of the mistranslation. Legitimately returned the game because I couldn't beat Guard Scorpion. Later, got it again. Got past Guard Scorpion, loved it.
That
started
rules.
playing the rest of the series.
That's
and then,
awesome.
Sometime when was it now? Like 6-7 years ago, I started getting into speedrunning, starting with FF9. And yeah, since then it's just I've just been doing it ever since, on and off, along with other things that I stream.
FF9 is the one that I'm afraid to run. It looks like the most terrifying of all of them.
Isn't 9 Isn't 9
I wouldn't say it's the scariest, but it's one of the most random ones for sure.
Yeah, like I'd hate to be like, oh my god, I'm on like my PB pace. All I have to do is get past death guys, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that at the very end of the run, there's just kind of like a dice roll if you're going to be able to. As someone who resets regularly at like a 5-minute point in my speed run, like I could not do that. I could not handle that.
Yeah. So I did that for a bit, got the world record when it was still free. No. That's not at all bragging because it was compared to now, it was relatively free then, and then like 2 days later I got bought by 11 minutes.
I feel like you have enough like top 2 positions on the leaderboards that you're allowed to brag a little bit.
Yeah. So the main one I've spent the most time running is 13, which is, in my opinion, the most fun FF to speedrun. So one day in several years when you guys cover 13, I'll be happy to educate you.
No, that actually would be great.
But right now we're doing 10, which I've run a little bit of, but it's mostly I did it a little bit because it's my favorite one.
Yeah.
It is one of my favorite games.
That's awesome.
Did a couple of runs of it, but it's not the best speed run, I'm gonna be honest.
It's a doozy from what I've heard.
It's also not the best Final Fantasy, for sure.
Oh, Carl! We're getting contentious immediately. Like right out of the gate.
This game's not over yet.
Yeah, it's true.
Come on our podcast and let us tell you why you're wrong. But yeah, so what did we do last time, y'all?
Yuna's gone.
Yuna's gone.
Yuna's gone.
Someone took our Yuna. So on the way back, we talked about how like we can't go around the right, like we can't go like counterclockwise because there's like that wall of boxes that the guy's like, oh, I didn't even notice those boxes being there. Whoops.
Yeah. So I have never noticed that in any of my playthroughs. I played that part after I listened to the episode, and I went there and I was like, what? What do you know? That is a lot of box.
Yeah, I know. I was like, well, I could just go this way. It'd be fine. But so I start going around the other way, and like we were saying last time, Aurochs is there. I suggested getting the Thunder Lance just for less turns in battle coming up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And there's like a couple things that happen on our way to find Yuna, right?
Yeah. Mostly kind of just random encounters, right?
Yeah, so we get a certain kind of enemy that pops up.
I'm not sure if they are random though, because I've played
They're
through
not,
section
yeah.
a few times.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You always fight the same amount.
But
Yeah.
there is Machina.
Yeah, there's actual Machina roll up. And like as soon as we get into battle with them, like they basically come running down the pier at us, right?
Right.
And as soon as we do, Titus is like, "Whoa, what are they?" And Lulu tells us they're ancient Machina salvaged by the Albed. They're vulnerable to lightning, thus the Kimahri Thunderlands.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we also have Lulu on our team, so it's fine.
Yeah, no, Lulu like just one shots these dudes, like just takes them.
Yeah.
Gets them out of here. Done with them.
Does she ever have a like useful weapon? Like, or one of her dolls? Do they? Because I've never found one that I felt like I needed to use, except for one with sensor on it.
I'll say that no, but it's like no with an asterisk because like end game all bets are off in FF10.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, you can
There's some mechanics that get introduced that let you have some more freedom with the weapons.
Yeah, like when I get to the end of FF10, I always just have like Yuna, Riku, and Auron because I know how to get their celestial weapons, and it's not too bad. And they're all like all three of them are just doing full 5/9 of damage, and I'm just like, yeah, there we go, Yuna, the tank class, the fucking the DPS.
But yeah, we what are these things called in the game? I don't have it on me at the time.
Yeah, I'm looking at my screenshots and I also don't have that for some reason.
I'll tell you what they're called. Please play the Russian national anthem behind this while I tell you what the name of this enemy is. They are the Worker.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I wish I had more of that joke. Just run around, but like,
I wonder if I've been trying to find it, but
Stronger together.
I think there's
Yeah.
actually like a VGM version of that song from a specific Tetris game.
Yeah.
But I have not been able to find it, but I'm pretty sure I gotta do a little more research. Maybe we can put that one in.
yeah. But yeah, they're pretty easy, man. There's really not that much to them.
They got one big arm.
They got one big arm, one tiny arm. But it also makes me think that like nobody can build Machina in this world, I suppose. Like they're all just salvaged.
Yeah.
Right.
They're thrifters.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, they're going thrifting for Machina.
Yeah. Upcycled.
Yeah.
It's like when you find a Wii in a Goodwill. You're like, hell yeah, I can homebrew this and play emulators on it.
You're like looking at the shelf and there's like one ancient Machina and one Nintendo Wii and you're just like, I promise I'd only leave here with one thing.
So yeah, these things aren't too difficult. They're pretty easy to take down with Kimahri, especially if he has the Thunder Lance, or even just Titus like attacking them.
Yeah.
Doesn't take too much, or just use Thunder with
Oh yeah,
Lulu.
one thunder from Lulu does
Yeah,
more than enough to take him out.
Their death animation is pretty cool because there's a lot of like little explosions that happen.
It's really tight. Also, so after this first battle, I got what is like to me the most important skill in the game.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Haste for Titus.
Yep. Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, like so haste in this game is just I mean, I guess haste in a lot of Final Fantasies is quote unquote overpowered. But
I think this might be the one where it's at its best.
For real, yeah, absolutely. Haste is just game changing. And like for a good portion of the game, I feel like maybe until we get to Xanarkand, it's not necessary per se, but and because of that, it just makes you so much more powerful. But
We go to Xanarkand?
spoiler alert, we're going to Xanarkand.
It's almost like there's a song.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the first song on the soundtrack is called To Xanarkand.
I thought it was like an ode to Xanarkand.
Oh, of course.
To colon Xanarkand.
With love from Titus.
I like that the Al bed on the deck or whatever. He's just like, yo, I swear I have nothing to do with this. And he's got like, he says it in Al bed, but I have like all the letters translated already. And he's just like, yo, don't look at me. I have no idea what's going on right now. And like different people along the docks. So as we run along the docks, we keep getting into these battles with the Machina. And we can just run on ahead. We've already got all the treasures in these areas if we're like following the podcast. But you can go talk to the people on the piers, and they do say various things about what you've been doing. Like one of the sailors says he was so scared he couldn't move when he saw them. Someone says, those Machina don't scare me. Can't survive on the seas of Spira, getting freaked out by that. So like, yeah, one guy says, yeah, when you've sailed the sea long enough, little surprises you anymore. I was like, yeah, that's for real.
I went to Micah's ship after, I think, with the first 2 battles, and they have some fun dialogue.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that a lot. Yeah.
I was like, if I were 10 years younger, those Machina would be scrap metal.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, and then one of them says, we don't need your help. The warrior monks will guard the master's vessel just fine, which kind of like underscores like the what's it called? The warrior monks and like the crusaders like animosity with like the excommunication and stuff.
Yeah. Philly versus Jersey. But when we finally get to the dock that we're trying to actually get to,
I think we fight like 2 or 3 waves of these.
Yeah, there are several waves, and after you finish the first wave, Lulu actually says, "Oh, they were expecting us,"
right?
Because there's so many of them there.
Yeah,
so that's pretty cool.
There's also like cutscenes going on, because I think we get to a point where we look at like the sphere or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
After you fight the last one.
Oh yeah, so like cuts to the game happening that we are late for.
Yeah, that we just did, like the one thing that we came here to do.
Yeah, Titus just dipped out.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, it's fine.
Do you think Lulu would be fine if he was like, oh, I gotta go to the game?
Yeah. Well, at this point, he's already dug himself into that hole. Like he's like already been like, well,
it's real weird too, because it's not even like the kidnapping is what delayed you. It's like when you're still in the bar, the game's already starting.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Kamaru is all getting all caught up in his friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also just weird that like Titus isn't a guardian. He just met Yuna, and he's like, "Oh no, let me help like rescue her." All of a sudden, and like her 2 guardians are there, like Thunderlance and just Thunder spells. It's like, Titus, you're really not needed here, dude.
Haste! I told you we have haste. He's important.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's there to haste Lulu.
I just use him for cheer. That's all I
did. I did use cheer. I didn't have haste yet though.
You know what? What I love about Titus, like as far as the battle system is concerned, because the thing is, like we like talk so much goof about like the story of this game, or not necessarily like the overarching story, but like the way a lot of it's presented. But the battle system is so good, and I'm just gonna like go over it again one more time, like how much I love it, because like. I love having the main character, like he is like an attack character, I guess, but really he's like the support class in this game, right?
Yeah.
Because like he's casting haste, he's casting cheer, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it's like battlefield management seems to be his thing.
Yeah, he's the team captain.
Yeah, and even like late game, he'll be like being able to like change enemies' turn order and just push enemies' turn order back a little bit is like his like ultimate skill. So like I just like that's kind of, it seems to be his role to me.
Welcome to my Titus talk.
I mean, if you played FF5, I guess he's got a bit of a like time mage thing, because a lot of his support spells are kind of in that kind of general direction.
Yeah, I like that, especially for like a main character, where I feel like main characters are usually like your attacky.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You're always the guy.
The guy. I want to be the guy.
No way, you're just a kid.
You're a squid. Yeah, so like...
the game's happening, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about the game happening.
Yeah, so it's just like a quick kind of cutscene of like Waka getting pretty like beaten up by the Albed team and like not really being able to do much, right?
And more pod racer comparisons happening where Waka gets hit really hard by Barrick, I guess. and the announcer says, "Oh, he'll feel that one in the morning."
Yeah, he does say that. Yeah.
Which I think a lot of the pod race was like, I don't care what universe you're from,
That's
that's gotta
gotta
hurt.
Yo, but and then he says the referee's not calling foul, and I was like, oh, referees even in this world.
But that's the weird thing. When you actually play Blitzball, there's no referee, and there's definitely no fouls.
Yeah, you can
And, like,
poison people.
that's what I was gonna say. Like the way Waka gets tackled here is like really not any worse than what happens in the actual games. Like the normal tackle animation is literally like going in heel first, outstretched legs straight into the opponent's abdomen.
That's
And
awesome.
like, and you can upgrade it to where you like poison people with it. It's,
You know they're
it's-
pissing in that pool.
Yeah, it's all just if they pee in the pool.
So I don't know what you need to do to get a foul called in Blitzball, but
Slightly deflate the Blitzball. that is not allowed.
I will say, like, it's 3 minutes into the first half of the Blitzball game at this point, and the score is 2-2. And I'm like,
That's
damn, they are
impossible.
racking. Yeah, that's impossible.
Tool-assisted Blitzball run.
The only way you could have 4 goals scored in 3 minutes would be if Bickson has scored 4 times when we go up against the Goers.
Just for fun, they dropped in like 4 balls in the beginning. It's like, yeah, just have fun.
It's like pinball, multi-ball. It's just like if that's their sudden death or whatever it is. You just like they drop in like 4 blitz balls.
It's like in Fall Guys when the golden egg falls in the soccer game and it's worth 5 goals.
I think that's the golden snitch.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, they see that they see on the sphere that Waka's taking a beating out there, and Titus is just like, oh, he's still in there, and then Lulu says,
He won't last. Waka's always like that.
oof, what does that mean? I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, and Titus just goes, ouch.
Yeah, Titus goes, ouch.
Yeah, but Lulu's like, let's go. Like, we got more important shit to do than watch sports.
Yeah. But on this dock, there's like a boat leaving, right?
There's a guard who's passed out who I just talked to who's just said seems to be asleep.
It says he was put to sleep, and I was like a dog, like a pet that's gotten really old. They put him to sleep. They sodium pentothal him.
He bit one of the goers.
He broke his leg.
He bit one of the goers.
He broke his leg, so they took him to the glue factory.
That's dark. Anyway, but yeah, there's a boat leaving, and it looks like the same boat,
A salvager ship.
a salvager ship, the same one that Riku was on. Yeah.
Yeah. And they
I mean,
do
not that it is the same boat, but it's the same.
Same vessel.
Yeah.
Right.
Much like we discussed that the Winnow and the Linky are the same model. Yeah. And it's like departing, like right now. It's like pulling out, right? And our characters like run up and then do like a cool action jump onto it.
Looks like we're gonna have to jump.
Yeah.
Somehow
Dude,
Lulu is keeping up, and like I don't know how.
Dude, Lulu she can run in that outfit, no problem.
She's probably got like a hoverboard under there.
She's got a T-board from FF8.
Okay.
That's for you, Carl.
Thank you, Curtis.
or the float material.
Yeah, the flow materia. I cannot wait until we actually do. Like, this is our 3rd game that we've done, and we still haven't played a game that actually has float as a spell. You can cast it.
It's gonna be so played by the time we.
Yeah, by the time we actually get to one, I'm gonna be like, here it is. I don't even know what it does.
We should just talk about it and not reference anything else and just act like it's just like, oh yeah, and then there's this weird move float.
It's like the whole episode just be about float through the ages. But
we're on the boat.
we're on a boat again.
The sea just keeps calling to us.
I know. I guess actually, you know what? This is probably our last boat for a good long while. I think this is like we finally closed the boat chapter in FF10 with this one. But yeah, so there's a platform on the boat, like that you might like keep machinery down below, and then it raises the machinery up to the deck
Or lower cargo or whatever into
Yeah.
Yeah,
scrap. And there's a crane.
Or get a plush
And a
of
crane.
Rilakkuma. Yeah.
yeah, right. Yeah, but the platform brings up like a
It's like a cargo elevator, right?
yeah, it brings up like a I almost want to call it like it's not sentient, it's a machine, but like a a death pitching machine that you'd find at a batting cage.
Yeah.
Like, if you could imagine the most menacing pitching machine in a batting cage you possibly could.
This is basically the machine that Happy Gilmore uses to get ready for hockey, the hockey season when the hockey season's over. Oh, that hurt a little bit. I'm all right.
But it's huge. It's like the size of a tank.
Yeah, it's like a. Does it have legs? What's the deal?
It's got some spiral. I think it has like 4 or 6 like mechanical
three,
legs.
I think.
And it also has like kind of wraparound can arms and.
It looks like one of those weird like dog robot things that they have like running around, and like you can see videos of people like kicking it to.
Oh, the Boston Dynamics.
Yeah,
big dog.
It looks like that with like a giant, just bigger machine on top of it.
It has a little bird head in there.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Is that what that is?
Yeah, it has a little head with a little like kind of beak in it.
Yeah, and it has like goggles.
Yeah, it's kind of cute.
Is that what that's supposed to be?
I don't know. Maybe that's where its eyes are.
Yeah,
I'm looking this up right now because I've never noticed this.
But
it does have a little head. Wow.
Yeah, I also did not notice that at all. Huh.
But yeah, it has kind of an interesting aesthetic. I mean, I guess maybe this is also some ancient machinery as well, for all we know.
For the ancient Blitzball teams.
Yeah.
To practice. Oh yeah, so
there's an insignia on the side of the crane. Is that the Albed sign?
I was wondering because there's also an insignia on the front of the Machina, and no, they are different. But yeah, I guess that's the Albed insignia. We should keep an eye on that.
Yeah, we'll figure
see
it
if
out.
that's it. But yeah, so this ancient Machina. I guess they all are ancient, right? Like we determined that. But it comes up. It is a pitching machine. It shoots blitzballs.
It is called the Obliterator.
The
Great name.
And this is a weird ass boss, man.
It's really silly looking.
It's like, okay, so mechanics of the boss itself, right? So the boss has a crap load of HP. Like I think like 6,000 HP or something. Yeah. And you can beat it. Like if you fight it straight, you could wear it down and defeat it.
Yeah.
Right. And its big thing is that it counters magic with silence. It counters attacks with blind, I believe.
With a blind ball.
Yeah, blind ball. Yeah.
Yeah, all its attacks are ball based.
Much like Waka's.
It's very committed to the bit.
Yeah, right. And then it also has a move where it just shoots a shitload of blitz balls at your whole party, doing a pretty decent amount of damage.
Blitzball Rush, I think that one's called.
Yeah.
Multi-ball.
You could probably survive 2 of them before, about that much HP.
Yeah, I got pretty decked with these things.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they can do some damage. They're
Yeah, it's kind of like a time management battle in that it has a lot of HP, and there is a strategy here that we'll get into, but you definitely you don't have that much time to beat it, so you got to try and beat it as fast as you can, because once it starts doing those blitzball rushes, it'll just hit your entire party pretty rough.
Right.
And
right.
also, I'm reading here that every turn its agility stat will increase.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Agility will increase with every turn.
Wow.
So it gets faster as you fight it.
It's like a B movie, but every time it says,
but every time it says Blitzball,
it gets 10% faster. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say I fought it straight up for this playthrough
Oh,
because I'd never
nice.
done that, and I was like, well, let's see what this is like. And I was regretting it as soon as I realized I had not bought any status restoring items, and I had one remedy,
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
which I used on Lulu when she got silenced, and luckily she never got silenced in the rest of the battle.
Oh, that is lucky. But did you get through it all right though at the end? Like, did you? were you able to get-
it was fine by the end, but it was getting close because Kamari and Titus were both blinded by that point. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and like we were saying, blind in this game is rough. Like, it really makes you miss almost
yeah, you're
every
not
time.
gonna hit
Yeah.
almost ever.
I mean, it's great if you use it.
Yeah, no, it's
Oh,
fucking,
yeah.
it's good. I feel like this game does a good job of really making status effects worth it. Because like in
For
pretty
sure.
much any other RPG, it's like, well, I don't care to poison the enemy or like blind them or anything. Like, what does it matter? But in this one, you're like, oh yeah, I better use those skills. Like, that's really important. But so like we were talking about, there's a Chekhov's crane. is
Not the bird, the mechanical.
yeah, but there's an old crane, and using the
I think Titus has like a prompt to use like a special move or
I
something.
think it's called a trigger command.
Trigger command. Okay.
Yeah, so he can use a trigger command to actually go over to the crane and attempt to use it. But if you try to use it, it says there's no power in it, and so there's no juice on it. But you can use Lulu
to target it with thunder, right?
Exactly, and then like put some life back in it.
I think it takes 3 strikes, maybe. About.
I think that's right.
It sounds about right.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it depends on like
damage output or something,
or if it just always does 3. I don't know.
I believe it's 3. I looked it up online.
Okay,
I've never seen it not be 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but after 3 casts of magic, and if you try to use it, like your party will discuss amongst themselves and be like, "Oh, we should probably target it with thunder. We should probably put some juice back in that thing." But once you do, Titus can go over to the crane on his turn, and he like punches some buttons on it very humorously, and the crane like raises up, goes over top of the obliterator, and like we were talking about how it kind of has like its little tripod body, and then like the weird arms.
Drums, and then the ball launching drum on it.
Yeah, like the top parts. Yeah, and like the crane comes down and grabs it and just rips the whole top half of it off of this machine, and so it just like rips this machine in half.
But then it drops in the water with a cute little boo.
Yeah. It actually like the crane goes over the water and then drops into the ocean.
You hear like a very lo-fi like little. Like almost like a pinball machine. Pinball machine sound.
Very comical.
It's really cute.
But I like that it does. So it does like a percentage damage, and I think it's like 95% or something crazy like that. Like it's insane. It basically takes it down to 1 hit away,
right,
from being done. So if you already know what to do by the time you go into this battle, you just like haste Lulu, 3 thunders, move the crane, 1 attack, and you're done. Like, it's super short.
I think you literally just described the speedrun strat, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so it's a pretty easy boss when you know what to do. I mean, I guess it's not that bad either way, because even if you didn't know what to do, they explain it to you pretty in-depth and clearly.
But before the fanfare happens...
What does happen?
A little door opens up, and Yuna's in there.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
And one of the Albed just, like, knocked out next to the door, and then, like, everyone kind of with a sigh of relief, you hear the fanfare, which is really cute.
Yeah.
Which is really funny. It's like, here's your prize.
Yeah, but in an end.
The gachapon was successful.
So I guess, like,
you get your Hello Kitty.
Yuna just beat the shit out of everybody on this boat, I guess?
Oh, yeah, Lulu asks...
I hope you hurt them.
Yeah.
And she's, like, kind of, like, shyly says, like, oh, only a little.
A little.
A little, yeah. I'm just like, I guess you could have summoned.
I would imagine
that
she
would
just
be-
summoned.
That God, could you? That's like a horror movie.
I was
Like,
gonna say you go in there and it's just like a horror comic. Like,
yeah, there's just like viscera all over the wall.
It's like an image of like the full page thing of like a berserk scene or something.
Yeah.
It's just,
it's the scene in Alien where Dallas is crawling through the vents and he's like, and like the aliens in the vents with him, but it's just like Veil 4 pops out. So it's fucking energy ray. Boom!
Yeah, Das Boot would be a much shorter movie if Val4 was in there.
Just fucking Ifrit down there, just breathing fire.
Woof.
It's awesome. But yeah. So
can you summon indoors?
Dude, you got to be able to summon indoors.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Yes.
It's frowned upon, but
Yeah. Because I was like, surely somebody does it at some point. They do. Okay. Yeah.
who's gonna stop you?
They're just gonna build a new roof. It's fine. So Yuna comes out. Party's happy to have her back, and then Titus is kind of looking around at the boat. He's kind of like preoccupied, and they're kind of like, "Yo, what's going on?" And he says,
There were these Albed that saved my life when I first came to Spira. They took me on their ship. They even gave me food. I was kind of hoping that this was the same ship, but it's not.
and so like I can get that. I feel that. Or he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh shit, this is the same boat." And go inside, and just the viscera of like Yuna and all, or not
Yeah.
Yuna, Riku and all of her crew. And like, oh no. But yeah, he explains. They're kind of like, "Oh, what happened?" And he explains that like Sin came up out of the water. They saved him. He made it out, but he doesn't know what happened to the other Albed. Right? Like we haven't heard from them. We don't know what happened.
Yeah. Then Yuna says something interesting. She
Yes.
says, "Was there anyone called Sid on that ship?"
Sid, first Sid of the season.
Hell yeah.
yeah.
And Titus says, "I don't know. They were all speaking that Albed language." And Yuna says, "I see." And Titus asks, "Who is Sid?" And she says, "He's my uncle, but I've never actually met him. And Titus goes, so that means you're an Albed too, Yuna? And she says, on my mother's side, yes. Sid is my mother's brother. He became distant after my mother married.
But she told me to seek him out if I ever needed help.
And Titus is just like, oh, so you were worried that he was...
Yeah.
And like Lulu just interrupts his thought and says,
Yeah.
Don't tell Waka about Yuna's lineage.
the thing about Waka, he never had much love for the Albed.
Okay, so
we've kind of alluded to this a lot.
I love Waka so much, but at this point in the game, this is where I'm like, okay, romance with Waka's over now.
Friendship with
Here we go.
Yeah, here we fucking go.
friendship with Waka ended. Now the Albed are my best friend.
Yeah. So good guy Waka, super big bro energy, always super positive, nice to everybody. Also a racist.
Yeah. So, I just want to go over what Lulu said again. She says, don't tell Waka about Yuna's lineage. The thing about Waka, he never had much love for the Albed. So Titus jumps up, puts his hands on his head and says, I gotta tell Waka.
Right.
And Lulu says, I thought I told you not to tell Waka.
Yeah, but I don't think he was actually talking about that.
No, he's not,
'Cause
'cause
Yuna's
Yuna-
like, oh, the game. Like,
Yeah,
he's like,
oh,
I
he's
need.
talking about the game.
He's just like, oh, I need to tell Waka that Yuna is safe and he can actually like
Not throw the match.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Lulu says, "Oh," and then like throws a flare.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
she,
yeah,
like,
it's really
she, like,
cool. She like,
casts like a ball of light into the air.
yeah, she like throws a fire spell up in the air. So and then it goes to a cutscene where Waka sees that and then he starts actually like playing the game and
Yeah.
I think he just knows maybe that was the sign that Yuna's safe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
cool, I can give it my all now.
hell yeah. And then there's just like some commentary and it's
30 seconds left. The Aurochs are launching an all-out offensive.
Oh, and it's cool. They all like swim
it's
together.
super cool. Yeah, they have like a cool formation and stuff and they're going and there's
Quack, 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 quack.
There's a long pass from Letty. Waka grabs it and
He does
swims
like,
up.
oh yeah, he does like a cool like deflect off of someone who like charges him.
Yeah, somebody charges him and he like
Kind of does a forward flip over them and kicks him away.
kicks off of their back.
Yeah, it's really sick. And then he goes up, he shoots, and he scores.
And the guy later says, "Goal!"
yeah. So, they
Is this
the
their
Aurochs-
first win?
Yeah, ever.
Yeah,
In the team's
they're-
history, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's their first win. It's awesome.
All this thing about them getting Titus on the team and maybe being able to finally win a game, and they do it without him.
Maybe he's just a good coach.
I really love that about this game is because like we obviously don't have a whole lot of love for Titus and we're always like making fun of him and stuff. And it's not like one of those games where you're like, oh, I don't really like this character, but like they keep like propping him up as like this kick-ass like super cool guy or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
right.
like they're doing that kind of, and then at every single turn it's just like, oh yeah, he wasn't really all that necessary. Like, oh, you thought that Titus was going to be the one to score the winning match and like the goal and everything. It's like, nah.
I mean, you can argue that he instilled within them the will to win.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
No, he definitely inspired them and like changed their whole philosophy on the game. So it was definitely helpful in that way.
They were in. Remember when you told him just to win?
Yeah.
We tried winning.
I mean, that is basically it. He was basically like, try winning, maybe.
Yeah. It's literally anytime someone goes into like a speedrunner's thing and they're like, did you try going faster? And you're like, oh shit. I've been playing this game for like 300 hours. I never thought of going faster.
I love when I was in your chat one time and I was like, Carl, if I were to be speedrunning Dark Souls, I would simply do it faster than everybody else. And the world record holder, Regal, was in your chat and I didn't know it. And he was like, well, that's what I did. And it worked for me.
It was so good.
There's a joke last week I was thinking of, which was like, the Aurochs were like, because they weren't even sure if they got seated or not.
Yeah, right.
Whereas I'm just imagining them talking like the captain, like, oh, keep the engine running. We won't be long.
I will say though, like, so the thing I'm thinking right now at this part of the game is like, admittedly, I kind of am in the sports spirit right now. Like when the Aurochs win their first game, I was like, oh, yes.
Yeah, hell
like
yeah.
I'm like super stoked on it. And like, no matter how much I like crap on Titus or will end up like being like, oh, Blitzball, like I love this so much. Like I'm in it right now. I'm like in the mood.
So I know that we just talked about how Titus is probably the one who instilled like the morale for them to actually pull through and win. But now that I'm thinking about it more, I think it was actually the power of racism that made Waka like win this game.
Oh, right. They've only like really played against the Goers every last tournament.
Yeah,
they
like
said.
every single time.
That is true.
They've only played the best team ever, so they've gotten really accustomed to playing against really strong players. So
They had to play against a team that Waka like hates the other people.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I can't lose.
Awful.
Now, there's one thing that I need to bring up with regards to the Albed Sykes. And it's that if you play against them, like, later on, spoilers, you'll get to play more Blitzball if you so desire.
Which everyone does, of course.
Yeah, of course, naturally. And so there's the thing about the Albed Sykes is they have one team member who's really overpowered, and it's their goalie.
Oh, hell yeah.
His name's Nimruk. And just to give you a little bit of perspective, we'll go into the actual stats a little bit later, but you'll be able to appreciate it even without knowing that. Is that basically, so your goalie at the start when you're playing this match has a 5 catching stat. The Goers goalie has 8 in catch. Now I want you guys to guess how much Nimruk has.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna say.
420.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna base it off. I think the eject shot is 12 strength or something like that. So we'll say 12. I'll say 12. What do you think, Alex?
I was gonna say 12.
Nimruk at level 1 has 18.
Holy
catch.
God.
shit.
There's no way.
There's no way.
Damn, Waka must be really fucking good. He's been holding out on us the whole time.
Here's the thing, and this is where it gets really interesting. If you look at the shot where Waka scores the goal, Nimruk is not the goalie.
Oh.
They sent the goalie out to like take care of Yuna.
That's basically the joke I've heard other people tell is that they threw the game by having Nimruk be on the kidnapping Yuna party.
Yeah, it's
no,
like
Nimruk was off saving his sorcerer. It was like he was their star player.
I think in actual like sports, that's not really all that unheard of. Like if you have a team that has a star goalie, like that is your team. Like the New Jersey Devils had a goalie like that. For certain games where you're like, okay, well this is an important game, but like there's no way we're gonna lose to this team. Like we'll just put in the second string goalie so that way like we don't risk injury for the more difficult games. Like that kind of actually makes sense because they're like, yeah, we're not gonna they're not gonna lose to the Aurochs because it's the Aurochs. Also, we have a little added like incentive where we're like, oh yeah, we kidnapped your summoner. Like you're not going to win this game. You have to lose it.
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, we're not going to risk him getting poisoned and getting hurt for
when
when we have to play the Goers in the next round.
Yeah, because and we'll get to this, in a second. Well, Waka has a fucking poison move.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll get to that. I have things to say about that. Yeah, right. So then there's some really great text here that I really like. So the team's excited, as in like Yuna and Titus, like, oh, we're in the big game. We did it. We won. And Lulu says, not the most graceful win. If it was Chapu, he'd still be standing. And then Titus says, hey, aren't you being a little unfair? And she's like, excuse me? And then like, oh, Titus, you dumb motherfucker. He goes,
I know I could never take Chapu's place. You're the one who told Waka that, right, Lulu? And I don't think Waka would ever try to take Chapu's...
You don't want to finish that sentence.
God, she's so scary.
Dude, I love it so much. But also, like, Titus, come the fuck on.
Yeah,
and, like,
also, Titus, you were fucking eavesdropping on that. I know it wasn't the time when he was, like, fully eavesdropping on the ship. I think that was after he woke up and, like, saw them by the bonfire.
Yeah.
But, like, dude, you weren't supposed to hear that. Like,
yeah, I know.
play it cool.
Yeah, so that's that was a little questionable. But, crises averted. Back in the locker room, baby.
Hell yeah.
Ready to go. And like Walker's just fucking splayed out on the fucking bench.
Yeah, we do have to run back there and we have control of the character. The only notable thing that I found was half of those cargo crates are now moved.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, so
so
you can talk to the guy and he says, I'll have these crates moved in no time, sir. It's like,
wow.
Just in time, thank you.
Really came through for us. Yeah, I literally took a picture of like that last scene and then a picture of being in the locker room. So I forgot that we could even walk to the locker room.
And on the way there, we can also go back to that hallway where all of the fans were outside of the Goers locker room and get another Albed primer, which says that V equals F.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I can't think of any good jokes for that, though.
Same.
Don't have to.
I guess all German words would sound the same, roughly.
Well, this is just another F to the pile.
Another F to the pile.
Every V in VV. There we go.
Yeah.
We did it.
The all bed version.
Yeah, every V in VV, yeah.
Shoutouts to VV from Final Fantasy IX. We all love you.
We love and miss you. Hope you're well. Oh, man, you know, like, I know we haven't done FF9 yet, but have you played FF9 all the way through, Carl?
Not all the way through.
Okay. You know how, like, you may have had a friend in high school who had, like, a pet, and you both enjoyed that pet, and thought it was cool?
Shoutouts to Bubba, my friend's dog.
Yeah, but now that we're, like, 30, we're like, oh, that pet is certainly dead.
Mm-hmm.
Vivi is certainly dead by now. Don't listen to what I just said, Alex. That's not important. Forget that and be surprised later. Anyway, yeah. So we walk into the locker room and all of the Aurochs are standing around Waka, and Dotto is just like, "Are you sure you're all right, Captain?" And like multiple are like they're all asking him like,
The game starts in a few minutes. You sure you okay? We're playing the Goers too.
and so like. I guess they're hyped on their win, but they're just like, uh-oh. Our one, like, real good player on the team, Captain Waka, is just out. He's just, like, laying on there. He looks injured. But Titus finally walks in. He kicks a fucking Blitzball up, and he's being cool. And he's like, oh, hey, did you miss me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, asshole.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the one thing we brought you along for. And, like, Yuna, like, apologizes. She's like, oh, no, all this happened because of me. I'm so sorry. And, like, I don't know that it did.
And then, Waka starts getting real problematic right away.
Right away.
How can you let some Albed kidnap you?
And then Titus is just like, yo, let it go, man.
Titus tries to be like the cool friend to somebody
like,
who has...
okay, Grandpa. Like,
you're like, okay, all right.
It's not okay to say that anymore, Grandpa.
Yeah.
And then he says, don't go near Albed anymore, okay? They're trouble. Yeah.
Those weird owls.
Weird Al bed.
And then we get a weird little like transition scene where it's just Yuna and Kimari standing there, and Yuna like is kind of walking around and like walks away.
Yeah, they just kind of like excuse themselves, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it's just like, oh,
you're
you're out in the hallway now, so here's a quick little scene with no dialogue and no like sound.
Yeah,
it's just like explain why she's not there, I guess.
Yeah,
It's also the boys' room.
Yeah.
So now would be a good time to save.
Yeah.
By the way, depending on
They keep offering.
But now if you want to win this Blitzball tournament, now would be the time to save the game.
Pro strat.
So there's the Besaid Aurochs are in here, Waka's on the bench, and Lulu's in here, right? And you can talk to them all. I don't think they all have like super interesting things to say, but at least Bata says, "Who's going to be warming the bench? Could it be me?" And I was like, "That's great."
Yeah. The other one's like, "Hey, let's do this for Chapu."
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, everyone kind of has something to fight for. Like a lot of people have been affected by sin, like the Kilika beasts and stuff. But
And then Dato asks you, which I guess we could have mentioned last episode that you could just skip the rules and then talk to Dato later.
Yeah, so Dato offers to teach you the rules again, so I'll give you that, Final Fantasy X. At least you did that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, is this where we actually review the rules at? And then like an hour later, we're going to go
You
do
just toss the game so we know what was happening in the cutscenes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's lore.
That's awesome. But yeah, so Titus talks to Waka, and Waka says, game starts soon, no time for warm-ups. You ready? And like Titus is all hyped up. Let me at him, let's do it. And then Waka addresses everybody in the room. He kind of like stands up and he's talking to everybody at the same time. And he says, I got something to tell you boys. After this game, I'm retiring. I promised myself this would be my last tournament. Win or lose, I'm quitting Blitzball. But you know, since we're here, we may as well win. And I was like, ooh, yeah. So I'm with the Aurochs in this one. They're all like, yeah, hell yeah, let's get them. And I was like, ooh, yeah, let's get them. I'm like watching a sports movie. I like that like there just is like a feel-good sports movie in the middle of a Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's really effective, too.
It is. And you know what the thing is? Like, all of this stuff, probably not in the speed run, but if you're doing it casually, like, it's about the length of a feel-good sports movie as well, where I'm just like, oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and at the very end of it, when everybody's like cheering, they're all hyped up, Bada just says, "Am I on the bench?"
It's appropriate too, because like if he is, I think pretty much legitimately the worst player on the team.
Oh, really?
Like, just going by stats, as far as I remember, I think he's got like 1 or 2 decent stats, but it's
Got
pretty-
you. Yeah, but Waka says that he's going to take the bench, and Titus is going to take his place. And then he says, "Let's win this one. Let's make the Goers goners."
Oh, such a good line.
So good. And yeah, so Titus and everybody head out to the field, the pool. What do we call it? The play pool.
The
I think they call it they do call it the field, I think.
Oh wait, they do say sphere pool, don't they?
I think so.
Yeah, at some point.
Yeah.
Field, sphere pool,
The rink.
playpen, ball pit, whatever you
The
really
ball pit.
But yeah, so they all head
The
off.
good ball.
Yeah, the good ball. But the only ones left in the locker room are Lulu and Waka at this point, right? And we get like a cutscene of their interaction together. Lulu says, "I saw you floating there on the sphere," and Waka says, "Hey, you weren't supposed to see that." And like he stands up and he's kind of like walking toward her, and he just fucking passes out on his feet. Like he just like lurches forward, and she like catches him, right?
Mhm.
And I was like, dude, Waka's a big man. If a full, because like, you know, like when like somebody like is not supporting their own weight with their legs, they become very heavy. Like people are very heavy.
It's just dead weight. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, dude, the fact that like Lulu like just takes it like a champ and is
Yeah,
just
and
like, no problem, I can catch this whole burly man without having to like step backward or anything. I was like, god damn.
And if you like look at the screenshot, it kind of just looks like she's just like hugging him.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's like he's got all his weight on her, and she's just holding him up with like nothing on her face. She's just like, yeah, this is fine.
Do you think Lulu could hold Tifa in one arm and pull herself up out of the meteor?
Hell yeah. I think she could hold Tifa in one arm and then do the FF7 remake pull-up challenge with Tifa and easily take care of oh shit, I can't remember the trainer's name in that.
That's beautiful, bro, in the old one. But
Well, once she takes off those belts, it's gonna be like a Rock Lee or whatever.
yeah, right. They're all like weighted belts. Yeah.
That makes sense now. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right though. It does look kind of like she's hugging him, because I think that's kind of what happens. then.
Yeah, yeah.
She kind of like tightens her arms around him, right?
Yeah.
She's consoling him.
She's comforting him.
And she says, "You really gave it your all, didn't you?" And then we go over to the room before the Blitzball stadium, like the team's getting ready to exit, and like Titus is like, "All right, boys, what are we gonna do?" And they're like, "Win." They're like, "We're doing it for Captain Waka," and they're all like doing a huddle, and they're all putting their hands in the middle, you know, like getting ready to go.
Quack, 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 quack.
Exactly, yeah. Quack, 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 quack.
Real Gordon Bombay hours.
And then Titus walks in and gets ready to play.
Yeah.
We cut back to Lulu and Waka, and there's, I guess it cuts over to this like little scribble on the wall, I guess, in the locker room, which is really sweet. And we can't read it, but with the subtitles it says, "My best memories are here. Waka, captain of the beats at Aurochs."
So like Waka's etched into the wall or drawn on the wall. But
Yeah.
I would like to point out, so I brought this up and I said this is going to be happening later in the game, right? We were talking about some crazy writing that we saw somewhere. Here's the thing. All that writing is in English.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
saw
I
it.
see it here. Yeah.
Yeah, it says, let's see, I think it says "to the friend
Of my to the friends of my childhood.
forever,
Forever.
Captain Waka, Besaid Auroch."
Mm-hmm.
That's so it does say that.
Yeah.
So is that a case of like they put that there, then translated that into Japanese, and then translated that back, and it became
They
something different? Like,
Maybe so, yeah.
So yeah, that was maybe what was. So that, yeah, I think they just translated the subtitles without actually like paying attention to what was on the wall.
In this game, there's all this like.
So I wonder what the literal like Japanese text says, which
Oh,
probably
yeah.
is something more closer to like.
Yeah.
like
I wonder,
friends.
does the Japanese text look different?
I wonder.
Like, does it look
The
like
Japanese
kana?
version?
Or does it look like that? Or does it look like the Romaji? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like, so all the text, all the world writing in this game is actually in English, and I
It's
wanted
just
to bring
a
that
funky
up.
font, yeah.
It's just a weird font that makes it look like it's a foreign language. Yeah. But like,
never noticed that either.
right? Like, so I noticed it like later when we have the ability to choose areas to go to.
I'll
like-
look up a Japanese
you-
walkthrough or something like that and see if I can find it.
Yeah, yeah. But you'll be able to like choose the locations to go to, and if you look at the name of the locations, they're all written in that scripty font, but they're actually in English. The name of the locations.
Yeah.
We'll have to reach out to Corey about that as well,
Yeah.
because I think he might be playing it in Japanese. I can't remember.
Oh yeah. He's at least he's watching a walkthrough in Japanese.
Yeah.
All right, but I think we should go to the locker room and get ready for the big game, boys.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's hit the showers.
Let's hit the showers. Wait, do you hit the shower? You hit the showers after the game.
Well, we're about to get wet. On break, we took a closer look at this text, and we realized it says,
it's a lot sadder than we thought it was.
it said, "To the dreams of my childhood, farewell."
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness, that's so much darker.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Walk is literally like saying goodbye to like his childhood dreams. That's amazing. Like,
Yeah, it went from being like a nice and sentimental kind of like end to this story, like chapter in Waka's life, to like being like the scene in Shawshank Redemption where Brooks carves Brooks was here into the wall.
yeah. Oh man,
I hurt myself today. If what venue would you and what would you write if you were playing your last show at the Century? What would you leave there?
oh my god, what would I leave?
I did the
Century
Brooks,
bars where all the good bands start, like in
Yeah.
Philly play. That's our clubhouse.
This is our Philly shout out to Century Bar for
hell yeah,
being
shout out
great.
to Century Bar.
I don't know. I mean, they have a lot of crazy stickers and shit. I'd probably just put a silly sticker on the bottom of the toilet seat. And like, it just says to the. I'm gonna make like a band sticker
Holy shit.
that says "To the dreams of my childhood, farewell," and just put it on the bottom of the toilet seat.
This would actually be like perfect for a bumper sticker. Oh shit.
Coming soon on the FFT public. No. But yeah. So we are now getting ready to do the game, and oh my goodness, this next scene, oh my goodness, y'all,
It's a good one.
it got me so fucking hype. All right,
Yeah.
so we're listening to the announcer talk, right? Like once again, it's like the Blitzball announcer.
But who could have imagined a championship game between these two teams? Our legendary Luca Goers going against
The horrendously ill-fated Besaid Aurochs.
Like,
whole
give
time.
them a break.
I
They
know.
just won their first game.
I know, yeah, everybody should be fucking soaked for us right now.
I'm convinced
But,
the
like,
announcers are the only people like who dislike us because I've not seen any like real
it's
Auroch haters out there.
yeah, they're mostly just like, oh, they're cute, they're fine, like they're
yeah.
harmless.
And they're really trying to play up to the crowd, and they're like, oh well, this crowd is the Luca Goers fans, so we have to really talk shit on every other team.
Yeah, right. But and so
Shout out to Koch and Scotch in the remake.
right. The camera's like panning around the stadium too, right? Like showing people coming in and out of the main area.
Loading up
Showing
the
that
bleachers.
huge crowd of like no more than 10 like
Oh,
models.
I
at
feel
a
like they do a
time.
little bit better. Oh, I know you're right. There are only like 10 models this time.
The way it's
It's like
shot,
it's like
it
old
feels,
driving games.
Yeah,
where-
like everyone is kind of like walking to their seats and everything, so it doesn't feel like empty or anything like that. But like looking back at the screenshots, I'm like, oh, I felt like there were more people there, but
Yeah.
it makes sense with the limitations at the time.
yeah,
all these
100%.
fucking scalpers.
Yeah. But so then he says, "It looks like this is history in the making, Baba." And as he says that,
We see a familiar
we
friend.
We see a camera angle of I think I said this before at one of our episodes, is that like the walkway into a stadium from the back area is called the vomitorium. Like, that's like the name of it. I always think that's amazing because it has the word vomit in it.
and it
I-
also sounds like a Mars Volta word.
oh, it does.
Delouse in the vomitorium.
Aurochs and the
Rocks in the vomitorium.
It's just Waga's face is that like head on the platter on the album cover. Like, ah. Anyway,
Apologies to Mrzwanzig. I know a lot of our music references usually go over your head.
I said this before I was even invited to the pod. I said the day I come on here, I am just going to be completely like smiling and nodding when you guys go into music references.
well, you should go check out Mars Volta. They're great. Anyway, yeah. So we have the camera angle of the vomitorium, and there's like stairs leading up from it. And so we first like somebody's walking up the steps, and as soon as we see like the first 2 inches of their head, I'm like, oh my god, because like
That's not an NPC.
yeah, there's only one character in this game with hair that salt and pepper gray
And stubble.
and stubble.
Hell yeah.
Walking up, he sees those glasses and that jacket. Oron's back, baby.
Hell yeah.
We caught him watching the big game.
He's always around the Blitzball games.
Yeah, he's a fan.
He's a true fan.
Yeah,
He's
Win or
always there to
lose,
support Titus.
he's the guy with the bag on his head that you were talking about last time. He's always coming
The
out for
Aurochs
his team.
super fan, yeah.
Yeah, he's got his fucking piss jug with him. He's ready to go. That's how like he never misses any of the game. He's never like been in the bathroom while somebody was scoring because he just pees right in that jug.
The amount of times I've heard, like, I've been speedrunning for like 6 years. The amount of times I've heard pee bottle strats. You know, as someone who speedruns long games, that joke got old like 5 years ago.
Real pros get catheters.
Oh hell yeah. That it just reminds me of there was this person who was on the Howard Stern show, excuse me, who was such a big fan of Coheed and Cambria. He talked about how when he would go to their concerts, he started wearing Depends so that way he didn't have to run to the bathroom to piss. And he's like, and he told this story on air. He was saying how he went to their one show and they started playing a song Mother Superior, which is like a longer song. And he's like, he was like, I really had to go, but I had already gone. But I was like, you know what? I got the diaper. He's like, what I didn't realize is that those like diapers are single use only and you're supposed to replace them after going in them. So he was like literally like soggy with piss at this concert because of that.
Soggy with piss. Soggy with a chance of meatballs. That's incredible, and I love it.
I think he's also a drummer in some death metal band as well.
Speaking of being soggy, so like it literally just shows Oren and then just cuts away to the game.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like there's a lot of like directing choices in this game that I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? But that one was fucking perfect. Where I was
Yeah.
like, oh, you just showed me Oren and then just cut away and nothing happened? You bastards. Like
Nothing good ever happens when he shows up.
dude, nothing good does happen when Oren shows
In
up.
all of 1 times we've seen him.
Well, it's gonna be 2 here in a second. But yeah, so we see Titus and the Aurochs getting into position in the Blitzball
Just treading.
stadium or field, pool. I'm gonna call it the pool. And in the pool, so it's kind of interesting. Blitzball like takes place
In the future.
but as far as we're concerned, it takes place all at the same height, even though it's a sphere.
Yeah.
And like we saw in the intro
It's like
cutscene
all
to the game.
it's like how all the spaceships in Star Wars are still like upright.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And always when they face each other, even though they could easily be all disoriented. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I never thought of that.
It is pretty unfortunate because, like, kind of the whole conceit of Blitzball as a sport is that it's like water polo, but 3D.
yeah.
But it's not actually 3D.
this could easily just be a normal pool and it would be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Save a lot of water.
Well, I think the thing is that, like, judging from that intro cutscene to the game, I think, like, we're meant to believe that it does happen in 3D. It's just what we're playing is going to be on a 2D.
Let's be honest, controlling this in 3D would be...
A
Oh my
nightmare.
god, a nightmare, yeah.
I think it's also important to think, like, this game came out, what, like 3 years after, like, Super Mario 64 or, like,
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time and
Right.
stuff. So, like, 3D tech at the time was, like, a little bit limited. Even playing those games, like, at times you were just, like, you know, you're not going in, like, 360 degrees.
I mean, I think you guys even complained about, like, the camera when you were doing the swimming back in, like, Besaid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's not...
it's
not...
probably for the best.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They just added swimming to Animal Crossing. It's very ahead of its time.
So the two teams kind of come together in the middle, and basically both teams are going to have somebody who kind of, I guess, faces the other one.
It's like the team captains at the start of the game, like shaking hands.
Yes,
To
yes.
like good sportsmanship to be like, oh hey, good luck in the game.
So Titus and Bickson swim up to each other,
Yeah.
and like Bickson's like, he looks like a douche, but he like sticks his hand out to shake Titus's hand, right? Mm-hmm. And Titus is like, oh, all right, well that's good. I like that, you know. And he like puts his
like
hand out, and then Bickson just tries to fucking hit him in the face.
Yeah, it's like the classic bully thing of like pretending to like go for a high five and pulling your hand away or whatever, but following it up with a fucking punch.
Yeah, and like Titus does dodge it, And he's like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" And then like Bickson just laughs at him and like swims away and looks back at him. He's
Well,
like,
no one laughs because everyone's assumingly holding their breath.
well, they're doing they're doing the motion of laughing.
Yeah,
But
he mimes laughing.
yeah. And even fucking Belgerda's on the team. She's actually one of their starters, and she laughs. She's like, like you see her giggling or whatever.
They're already going at it, folks. The Goers are taunting the Aurochs.
I don't think that would fly in a real in a.
I mean,
fucking,
once again, no foul is called, so.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like that surely is over the line.
I think there's a lot of nepotism in the referees in this. Because
Yeah.
anytime,
This is real XFL shit. Like,
if Titus pulled that shit, they would have called a
Oh,
red,
yeah,
a
for
red flag
sure.
immediately.
yeah, right. Of course, of course.
It's a home team advantage.
But that pretty much puts us right into our Blitzball game, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to turn off my Switch now because I have internalized every bit of this match and Blitzball.
How many
In
times have you
total.
played this round?
A few. I would like. Okay, here I'll just say I'm not going to belabor the point. Right, I'm just gonna put it out there and we'll make of it what we want. I had to play this a couple times because I really wanted to win this one. And if you lose it, from the time it takes you to, if you're playing on Switch, right, specifically, and you have the game downloaded, the time it takes to hit home, cancel the game, because you can't just like reset.
Yeah, there's no
From the game.
in-menu like quit like in
Right.
Final Fantasy
Or
VII.
load save or anything like that.
Yeah.
Right. So if you quit to the home screen and go back in, it takes 6 minutes and 45 seconds to get from the save point
Oh my
to
God.
this.
That's like That's like a whole nother round of a game. You
Yeah.
should have had two
Put it
switches.
this way, if you just took the amount of time that I had to sit through those cutscenes and added them all together, it is longer than a Simpsons episode.
I'm just saying, if you had two, you could have played through a whole other round while the other one was.
Yeah, absolutely could have.
Yeah, just get two switches.
But I will say, so what is special about our setup on the podcast today is, from what I understand, Mrzwanzig is the ultimate Blitzball fan. Is that right?
I wouldn't go that far. Okay,
well, let's just
Then what
say,
are you doing here?
Let's just say, if you had a choice,
A Blitzball apologist.
If you were put in 24 hours of solitary confinement and you could either play Blitzball or Chocobo Hot and Cold,
That's not even a choice. Okay, so I said before the podcast, I said to some people I really need to find an excuse to put Chocobo Hot and Cold on blast while on this, but you just gave it to me.
Hey, you know what? When we get to it, I'm ready to sing its praises. I'll be like, it's really great. It's like putting the triangle in the triangle hole, and then it's like a baby's toy side quest, and I love it for that.
Yeah, no, absolute shambles.
So why don't I actually think how about you kind of take us over how Blitzball works, or start us off at
All right,
least.
well, I'll give it a go.
Crack your knuckles.
In the beginning, there was man and ball.
So when the match starts, you get the what's called the Blitz off. The ball shoots up from like this little thing at the bottom. I don't know what that is supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's a very goopy looking ball for a second. It like gets real morphed.
Yeah,
and,
real
like,
stretchy.
Stretch
Yeah.
and launches off. Blitz off like blast off.
It's a non-Machina obliterator that shoots that thing.
Yeah, it's just
And it's a 50-50 shot of either midfielder catching the ball, and then the game's underway.
Is it? Are there any stats? There's not any stats or anything that can help you get the.
No, that is legit just a 50-50.
Okay, so I guess what in the speed run do you just hope for a good?
You hope
like-
to get it. And here's
Yeah.
the thing, it happens at the second half again as well. And it's not like if you get it the first time, they'll get it the second time or something. No, it's random each time.
Yeah,
So getting all three blitz-offs is a time save, yeah.
the time that I won, I actually got the blitz off all 3 times. So I think our forward is Letty. Is that right? I think he's the one who's actually going to grab the ball if he.
Yes, yeah. He's. I
yeah.
mean, he's technically he's like the midfielder.
That's right, midfielder. Yeah.
But at this point, it's very much like basketball, where they just toss up the ball, and someone gets it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's 2. What would you call them? Like 2 attackers, 1 midfielder, and 2 defenders.
And a goalie, yeah.
Yeah, and a goalie. Yeah, so 6 people in
Those-
clear ones. And I guess like we can kind of adjust that too as the game goes on, right?
Yeah, we can change kind of their slots and kind of reassign their roles, right? Their jobs, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a job system.
you get an opportunity halfway through the match to kind of like change up positions if you so desire. But you can also, by pressing, I think it's triangle, once you've got the ball, or even if you don't, you can kind of like give your team vague instructions. So did you guys like immediately switch it to manual as soon as you got the ball?
Yes. Well,
Yes.
the first time I didn't because I didn't remember what button I had to hit to do that.
Should have reread the tutorial.
I
Curtis.
should-
Talk to Dotto.
Yeah. But yeah, once I figured it out, I was like, okay, that is step number 1 because I don't know what they're doing.
And there's 2 different manual modes, right? There's manual 1 and manual 2, or manual A and manual B.
A and B.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't know the difference.
I do. It is one is based on the camera position. So
Right.
like whatever the camera is showing, when you move, it moves in that direction relative to the camera. The other mode is it moves in relation to the mini map.
Right.
I would suggest that one.
Yeah, that one
So
sounds
holding
way
left
better.
is just going straight towards the leftmost goalie,
Yeah, right.
aka the opponent's side.
Yeah, right. I think I probably did the camera one, probably. But
Resident Evil rules.
yeah, right. Which like FF10 does that thing in its main game as well as Blitzball, where like if you're holding a direction and the camera changes, it won't change the direction, even if the direction you're holding is now not the same. Does that make sense? That's a weird way to say that.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you mean.
Right, yeah. So if you're like holding left and then the camera changes such that the left is actually down now, it'll keep you going in the same direction.
Yeah.
It won't throw you.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until like probably halfway through the match that I played, and I was like, oh, like I can literally just hold left if I'm trying to go to their side and right if I'm trying to go back to my side.
Yeah. Now, the first thing I want to talk about with this match in particular is Bickson. So I want to talk about
Really?
Bickson.
A meathead.
Correct me if I'm wrong. If Bickson gets the ball, the Goers they've scored once. Like that's the way it felt to me. I was just like, oh, Bickson has
It's
it.
pretty much the same for both of their forwards, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think the other one, Abus,
Abus, yeah.
actually has a higher shooting stat even than Bickson does. I think he is 1 point higher, if I recall correctly.
The thing about Bickson is that I multiple times had like 3-man breakthroughs on him where like 3 of the Aurochs would be on top of him, and just no combination of the Aurochs can possibly get through his endurance. Like there's just no way. He's too strong. So it's just like he's always going to get the shot no matter what. Whereas Abus, I think, had a better shot, but sometimes I could get the ball away from him.
That's probably true. I don't know all their stats exactly off the top of my head.
I will say the first game though, and this is the thing that like got me so frustrated, is that like I had the ball, I swam up to the goal like in front of their goalie, and Abus was able to get it away from me. And the computer decided to make a shot from full fucking court, like all the way across the fucking court. And it went in. And I was like, Keepa! It had 1 shot point left. Like, what the fuck?
Keepa was
It
like,
shouldn't be-
that's so far away. I don't have to
so
pay
it's
Looking at
attention.
his phone.
So to get into that slightly, because I believe if it actually had 1 left, it should not be able to go in. Because
It may have had 2 at like the max, though. It was low.
Yeah, so the way it works when various things happen, basically when people are trying to block each other, and the same with the goalie on a shot, your character will have a passing stat or an attacking stat, or shooting stat rather, or whatever, and that value will be whatever it is when the shot starts out, and then whoever's trying to block has their blocking stats or whatever relevant stats. There's a bunch of stats.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
And whatever relevant stat they have to block the ball will get deducted from the original whatever stat of the person who has the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But there's RNG to it.
Right.
And the RNG is basically the amount that gets deducted is anything between 50% and 150% of whatever they have.
Okay. All right. So if Abus had 3
Say
left.
if the ball gets to Keepa with 3 shot left, because it also, if you shoot, it decreases the more it travels, so that you know,
Right.
there's an advantage to shooting from closer. So if it had 3 left, then it could be, since Keepa only has 5 stat, and I think it can round down. I'm not entirely sure how that goes, but I think it's possible for Keepa to only take 2 off, which would be 50% of his 5 stat.
Yeah. It was certainly not lower than 3. I might actually have it on here because I remember when it happened, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was so upset about the difference.
It's pretty crazy. Still not as bad of an RNG range as Tetramaster card battles.
Oh my goodness. I haven't seen it in my games, but I've definitely seen some videos and clips of things going terribly wrong in Tetramaster.
Yeah, that's FF9.
Yeah. You're like, the Goblin beat Alexandria? Get the fuck out.
Yeah, that kind of stuff can happen. Like, if you shoot and you have nobody defending you, and you shoot with, like, say, 15 shot or whatever, and the opposing goalie only has, like, 9 catch, then they won't be able to catch it no matter what.
Right.
So it is possible if your stats are high enough to guarantee shots go in or whatever. But for the most part, your stats are really underpowered compared to the Goers.
It is wild how much weaker you are than the Goers. Like I said, for me, so let's see here. Speaking of Belgerda, she has a ton of attack power. And so I guess we should say that, like, we should discuss breakthroughs real quick. So as you're playing the game, when characters come into close proximity to each other of opposing teams, something called a breakthrough will happen. And that'll be whoever has the ball is now facing however many of the opposing team is around them. And the opposing team is trying to stop them from either passing or shooting or continuing to dribble the ball down the field. And the way that they try to stop that person is either by tackling them or by trying to intercept the shot. So if, say, we're Titus, right? And we're swimming toward the goal, and then 3 of the Goers are so close to us that we have to break through all 3 of them now.
You're probably screwed.
You're almost certainly screwed, yeah. But the game will ask you, like, okay, how many of these people do you want to try to endure the attacks? And how many of them do you want to try to shoot over? Because you may not have the endurance to take all 3 of them, but you might have the endurance to take 2 tackles, and then before the third guy tackles, you just try to go ahead and shoot it anyway, and the third guy's catch is low enough that he won't be able to really block your shot. So you have some option there. And, like, this is frustrating in this game because of how low level you are and how your stats are so different. But this is a great part of this game, and I think, like, kind of the genius of Blitzball as being, like, a sport game and an RPG thing is in this element of it. And, like, getting to pick your skills, getting to pick what you're doing in those situations, and how many enemies to take on at once. I actually think that's really cool. The thing I kept doing, I kept trying to swim to the other goal on the bottom of the field, which is where Belgerda is, and she has so much fucking attack that, like, Titus just cannot withstand her, it felt like. Like, I just never got a good roll.
He should be able to, because his endurance is higher than her attack stat. So, like, on average, you should be able to take a tackle from her most of the time. But this is the thing also with the speedrun. You know, I had a run once, and technically it wasn't Titus, but, you know, spoiler slightly.
Yeah, okay, fair, yeah.
I would be doing it with a different character. But I once had a run where, you know, Belgerda had a lower attack stat than my endurance by 1 point. And yet she beat me 4 times in a row.
Oh my god.
So that's the thing, is that I was wondering, and I don't actually know this, I should have looked this up before we started the podcast, but I was wondering if there's, like, a luck stat that, like, determines these RNG values, because I swear to God I could never get past her. I was just like, what is going on?
I think the tutorial puts it best, and I was trying to find the actual, like, dialogue for it that I took a screenshot, but I just have, like, screenshots for the entire text dump of the tutorial. I'm like, I cannot find it, but they say something like oh, like this is how the stats work. Here are the numbers when you add up. It lays it all out for you. It's like, this is how it works. And then it's like, just like a footnote. It's like, oh, and there's also some randomness involved. I'm like, well, then what the fuck? Like, they spend like 7 dialogue boxes explaining how all of the stats line up and how they like intercept with each other and stuff and like the strategy involved. And then it's like, but also there's some randomness. I'm like, well, fuck.
Yeah, like that's the thing is that like this game, like there are strats for winning this game, and I definitely used one of them. Because like we were talking about, you're so under-leveled compared to the Goers at this point, which makes sense. We've only ever won one game in our history.
Yeah, it is lore appropriate, yeah.
Right. So like it makes sense that like we're probably canonically meant to lose this game, maybe. Maybe. I guess it depends on how you want to look at it. But there are strats you can use that are relatively consistent if you get good RNG on everything.
Works every time, 50% of the time.
There's a couple of things that you do have going for you. One of those is Titus, which is really your only character who can stand up to the Goers one-on-one.
I will say that Jasu has enough attack to take the ball from, I think, anybody but Bickson. So I noticed that as I was playing. I was like, okay, all right, at least Jasu's got that going.
Yeah, Jasu is a pretty solid character. I remember actually sometime when I played a lot of Blitzball and on one file, I actually kept Jasu on my team as a midfielder. He's a defender on this one, but he's actually pretty good.
Yeah. So he's pretty legit. I like Jasu for that. He also starts out on the same side of the field that Titus does. So that was really nice having like 2 strong characters able to go up that bottom side to try to get to their goal.
But yeah, one strat I did see was basically to grind, just like somehow get your ball to like the backliners and just pass it back and forth until the Aurochs just go back to their position. You're basically just grinding. So by the time you pass the halftime, you can have Jex shot, I think.
Yeah, so like we learned Jex shot on the ship on the way here.
Theoretically, we know how it's done.
We know it theoretically, right? Because like when we start the game, Titus doesn't know it. I was like, didn't we do a whole thing?
I think he knows the skill, but you can't equip it to him before the game.
He can do it on land.
He can't junction it yet. He hasn't unlocked that with AP.
I think he does need to level up to be able to do it.
Yes, I was gonna say if you don't level up, like if he doesn't take any passes, he won't be able to equip it second half.
Correct. Yeah.
If you can somehow manage to get the keep the Goers from scoring at all for the first half.
I gave the Jex shot so much shit when we actually did it for being like stupid looking in anime or whatever. However,
it's your best shot to win.
So did you guys get the Jex shot?
I did not.
I did, and then I went to go and use it, but it was like at a breakthrough, I think, and I just like drained all of Titus's HP, and they like stole the ball. I was like, well, shit.
Okay.
That was the Mark 1 that I did.
So I actually was like, okay, I'm cool with it now because I thought it was stupid that I was like, he like throws it at the fucking ship mast and then punches it at the mast and then does this and that. But they like in universe made it make sense. And I was like, oh my God. So what happens is
some Neo shit.
It just gets rid of 2 defenders.
Oh, wow.
Like if you're set upon by 2 people, where like Jack punched it at the mast and like kicked it at it or whatever, that's you take out 2 different members of the opposing team with it. That's what happens.
Whoa.
So basically like whatever breakthrough is happening when you're doing the shot, you just take out 2 people. If there's 2 people there, you now just have a free shot completely. And I think it has 12 shot.
Well, it's Titus's base stat plus some number.
Oh, okay.
I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head, but it's definitely Titus with the Jex shot definitely has a lot more shot than like Rowdy's catch. So if you manage to just swim up right to the goal so it won't decrease from there, and you know you can do that with the Jex shot fairly safely because you don't really have to care so much about any defenders being on you at that point because you can just take 2 of them out.
Yeah, right, exactly. And like I didn't even realize that until like my second playthrough of this or whatever after I'd already lost once, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't even have to care. I can just roll right up there. It's fine.
The fandom says the Jex shot is +5 to your shot.
Oh, nice. Okay, so it's probably higher than that. Yeah, so he doesn't have really a chance on catching it if you do it from right up close.
Yeah, if you do it from point blank, he will not catch it if you get the shot off.
Because I actually did it from pretty close, and I did end up not making the shot once. But I think somebody got their hands on it and like...
Right, yeah, there is also still that. If you've got more than 2 defenders on you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which I think is what happened to me when I did it and failed. I was like, well, shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So if you can get right up in there and just take it, it should be okay. I found the way I did it, if I remember right, was that I had Josu pass to Titus so that not everybody was on Titus's butt, and then just immediately go for the goal. And so that way,
generally the best strat is to try to pass with a long pass to Titus when he's already behind most of the enemy lines, so that usually he'll just have Belgorod on defense if you play your cards right.
Right.
That's kind of the ideal situation.
Right, and Jexshot takes out the dice roll of Belgorod being able to just immediately be able to grab the ball back. Dude, I'm so salty about it. I know that she has less attack, but I swear to God, she took it every time.
She's got eyes for Keepa.
Yeah, she does, yeah. Oh my God, okay. All right, it is time to talk about Keepa, because we are talking about strats to win this game. Let's talk about MVP of the fucking game,
Hell
Keepa.
yeah.
Okay, so Keepa only has 5 catch when he starts out, but he can get 6 if he levels up. At halftime, right?
Yes.
But for whatever reason, here's the fucking insider strats for fucking winning Blitzball, right? Something about the AI makes it bug the fuck out if you swim behind Keepa at like a certain location. And it can take some finagling. Like you can be behind Keepa and it won't
The goalie
work.
Keepa, you mean?
Yeah, the goalie.
Cool.
You can get just behind him. And if you look at your mini map, all of the other people will just swim in circles. Like all of the Aurochs and all of the Goers will just swim in like really tight circles too. And it's really funny to look at the mini map and just see all these little like triangles going in these tight circles. And like they just don't know what to do. Cause like I guess like the game just doesn't expect you to be there. It just is like that we can't, I guess, program like having the breakthroughs there or whatever.
Well, it might also just be partially, I could be entirely wrong about this, but they're just like playing zone defense, and so like if they're just far enough away from you, they just won't come after you.
Yeah, well, I noticed that like if I wasn't directly behind Keepa, it wouldn't work for me.
I think I've seen times where even the going behind Keepa thing, sometimes they'll still come after you, maybe. I don't know quite enough about this for...
I don't really know like the reasoning behind it or anything, or like what makes it happen or not. But I do know that when I was trying to set it up the first time, some people were still coming after Titus. So I would just kind of like hit up and down and just try to find a sweet spot. And eventually I would hit a spot where they would go back to their position. So it's kind of weird. You might have to finagle it a little bit.
Like a reset.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
That is a great method to waste some time if you're either you manage to get ahead or you're in like the first half and you're trying to get to the point where you have the eject shot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which I think is a pretty safe way to do it. The only issue with it to me is that means if you do fail in the second half, every try of this is going to take more than 7 minutes. It's going to take like 13 minutes every time you want to try it. But it's pretty safe, I would say, if you can get the first goal. You just got to keep it away from Bickson, man. What a jerk. I hate him so much. So I don't know if I remember saying why Bickson was such a jerk to me before, but now that we've talked about the breakthroughs, Bickson just has so much goddamn endurance, dude.
Yeah.
And like nobody on my team who would like... Because he's on the top of the field, too. So, like, Jasu's on the bottom. So, Jasu rarely was one of the attackers. I would have, like, 3 people on him, but it usually wouldn't be him. And anybody who could attack him just would not be able to take his endurance down. And then he has such a high shot. I think it's like a natural 15 or 16 or something like that. It's really high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing we haven't mentioned is that when you're playing defense, you can't control your team at all.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You can assign them like mark mode or zone defense, or like you can kind of like generally, but you can't control anybody directly while you're on defense.
Right.
So if they win the blitz off, Grav gets the ball. He's their midfielder. You're basically just hoping that he either swims into all your defenders and they manage to take the ball from him, or he tries to shoot and fails because his shot's not as high as the forwards.
Right. And that can happen. He does try to take the shot sometimes.
Yeah, he did do that in my game.
Yeah. And the thing is, if they get a point, it can make it very difficult to win, but it's still not undoable. And we should talk about the next couple little cutscenes here. Like we were talking about halftime, right?
Yeah. I also want to point out that in my screenshots of the match, I have like at least 3 or 4 of Keepa making incredible saves. I was like, hell yeah.
That Keepa's a Keepa.
I was like, Keepa, don't miss.
While you're getting this up, there's actually one other thing that I want to talk about. We talked about the going behind Keepa for time wasting. There's actually one other method that is pretty commonly seen by speedrunners. It's a little bit lesser known because one of your players, Jasu, actually has a high enough speed stat to outswim all of the goers. So what we actually do is pass the ball to Jasu and just basically swim circles around the sphere.
Holy shit.
And you can get all of the goers like in a train behind you as long as you steer carefully enough that you don't like go into them, which will force a breakthrough. And at that point, you'll have the entire team against you. But, you know, as long as you keep carefully not letting them get too close to you, which you can do because Jasu is fast enough, you can just spend an entire round swimming in circles.
I had no idea. That's amazing. Like I feel like I should get like I made a save at the half or not right beforehand. I feel like I should go back and do that just to do it.
If you watch some speedruns, you'll see them do it for sure. People refer to it as the Jasu train.
That's awesome. Well, I guess I'll see all you listeners in Camper's stream sometime this week. Yeah, that's awesome. Jasu, what a hero. Wait, which one is Jasu? Let's see here. I'm looking at a picture of the goers right now. Which one's Jasu? Is he the guy with like the short brown hair and the goatee? Bada's the one with the red hair. Jasu has the blonde hair. Letty is the dude who looks like he was in the Backstreet Boys. Who was the bad boy in the Backstreet Boys?
Lance Bass.
The people who are listening to our podcast right now who did like the Backstreet Boys are like, you idiots! It was this guy. He was the bad boy. Anyway,
Sephiroth.
Sephiroth. Keepa's the chunky one, and Dotto is the one with the green headband. I got it. I was hoping I would learn all their names.
But Justice got the very yellow hair.
Right. Yeah. So halftime happens after 5 minutes. And it cuts to a scene in the locker room where like Walker's like yelling at him, like trying to kind of pump him up. And he's like,
Zone defense, boys! Stop those goers!
and they're all like, yeah, Captain, yeah. And I like that Titus says, what about me? And Walker actually gives good advice to us. He says,
Get the ball and just shoot like crazy!
and Titus even is like, yeah, shoot like crazy. And like, that's actually like a good suggestion with Titus. Like, get the jet shot, shoot like crazy.
Yeah.
Get in there. Get
Shots on goal. That's
So one technique would be to just like hold on to the ball for the first half and then do the same thing, but then have Jasu pass it to Titus, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to do the jet shot, you got to make sure Titus levels up, and it doesn't take much. You basically just the way the speedrun does it these days mostly is pass the ball to him once and let him pass it back. That'll give him enough experience to level up.
Yeah, so the way that the techniques go, I'm looking here because after this little speech we have like the level up screen, and it says set player techniques. Players level 3 and up can use techniques. Available slots increase as the player levels up to a maximum of 5 slots.
Right.
So basically, Titus starts out at level 2, so he doesn't have any slots that he can put the jet shot in. Once you get to 3, he already knows it, so you can put it on.
Yeah. You know what? While we're here, since we're talking about it, like a lot of the parts and pieces of Blitzball we can't really use in this game right now, but I'm actually not too familiar with them because I never really go back and play Blitzball again. But Mrzwanzig, how familiar are you with like the key skills and tech copies and stuff like that?
Okay, I mean, I can try to go into it a bit. It's been a while.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest. Like since the last time that I went seriously into Blitzball, we're probably talking like 8 years or so.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
All right. Oh, I mean, I looked up a little bit about it, so I at least have like a little bit I can say about it. But we don't really get to exercise that in this game, right?
No,
So-
not really in this game.
So my understanding is if you assign your team to mark somebody and that player does a move that you don't know, you can do like a little timed event where you learn that tech from them. Is that right?
Yeah, a little text thingy saying, I think it just says tech copy will pop up, and if you press X at that time, your character will learn that move.
Yeah, and this is also something that if you're going through the tutorial, it does
He
show
said
you.
press X. No, sorry, go ahead.
We're
We're all playing on Switch. That was a joke.
Oh, I'm playing PS3. I'm sorry.
You're good.
If you go through the tutorial, they actually allow you to like do a tech copy, and like I was doing it during the tutorial like 10,000 hours ago, it feels like. But yeah, when tech copy comes up, you have like a limited window to hit it. And the first like several times, even after reading it, like the first several times I failed it. And I was like, what the hell? What am I doing wrong here? So it's a weird timing thing, but
I read online that the text like flashes and it has to be in the white part of the flash
oh, okay,
for
interesting.
it to work. But I haven't done it, so I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't remember specifically how it was. I just remember having to go through that tutorial like
Yeah.
3 or 4 times because I missed it the couple of times. It's like a more, I feel like it's a more difficult version of like learning the Jack shot where like the things pop up on the screen. You have to hit the corresponding.
Oh yeah.
It's like a way quicker version of that you get like one shot on, and then you're like, oh.
Yeah, I think that your, I'll say party members, your team doesn't learn all their skills just by leveling up. They also can learn them by tech copy, but I think you have to have learned certain skills to learn other ones.
Yeah, so every character just has 3 certain assigned skills that I think they were called key skills. Was that right?
Yeah.
Is that what you were saying? Yeah. And basically they need to learn that to like unlock some set of skills that they will then be able to learn, if I recall correctly.
Right. I know that Titus's last one is the Jack Shot 2, and I was like, oh, there is a Mark II. He lied.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually seen it.
It's
Yeah, I've never
Jackshot
seen it
3-2.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen it, but I read about it online, and his ultimate one is Jack Shot 2, and it removes 3 people from a... Yeah, I know. I was like, dude, there would never be a situation where that would not
Even
work
when I
out.
played Blitzball for like many hours, I've never actually gotten that. Like, how do you get that? Because I assume that's not a tech copy. I don't think someone else has that.
He has to learn like Venom Shot 2 and some other like weird skills.
You win the
He's gotta get all
tournament,
his things.
but Titus must have obtained all his key techniques before it can be learned.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
and you have to win the tournament?
Looks like it.
Okay.
And it also costs 999 HP.
Holy
Okay.
Oh
shit.
yeah, that's the other thing. We didn't really mention HP. For the
Yeah,
most
yeah.
part, it's usually not that relevant, but it is relevant with regards to the Jack shot, because the Jack shot takes like most of your HP to use.
I think it takes 120, and we're under 200 HP at this
Yeah.
point, I'm pretty sure.
So you
Yeah.
only get one shot at it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. If you're playing like I was playing and being like, okay, I'll just get one shot and then I'll just hide behind Keepa, and you fuck up your Jack shot, you should just reset.
Yeah.
Try again.
So one other thing about Titus is that even if you don't get the Jack shot, he actually can get another technique if you get him to level 3. I don't know if you guys noticed this.
Oh, I did not.
But he actually has another thing. It's called Sphere Shot. Now, if you remember from the cutscenes near the beginning of the game, you remember that, like, him jumping out of the sphere pool and doing, like, a backflip and kicking the ball, that thing?
Yeah, the
And
Sin
he-
Summoner.
Yeah, that, and which he also does, like, when he shows up on Besaid to impress the Aurochs. Yeah, it's that. That's the Sphere Shot.
Yeah, I did see the Sphere Shot, but I didn't try it.
That's cool.
So it takes a little bit less HP also, but the way that one works is it adds a random value to your shot, which I don't know what the range on it is off the top of my head, but generally on average it will actually give you more power up than the 5 you get from Jack shot, but it doesn't take out like the defenders like the Jack shot does. So in general,
Gotcha.
the Jack shot is a lot easier to use because you can just like power through the defenders with it.
Yeah.
But Sphere Shot is still quite good.
I like how that gives you a little bit of like an option. You like there is a little bit of like trade-off between which one you might want to use.
And that is actually what the speedrun does, because the speedrun doesn't get the Jack shot because it gives you a longer cutscene if you learn it.
Oh, interesting.
On the window.
Yeah, so with the Sphere Shot, I'm looking it up here. It will grant you +3 shot while also boosting shot by the random number depending on the player's level. So if your player, if Titus's level is 1 through 19, it'll add a random value between 0 and 10. 20 to 39, it will add from 0 to 15, and
so you could like
40 or more, it can add 0 to 20.
So Titus's starting shot is, what did we say?
I think it's 11, I want to say.
11. So you get an automatic 3, and then you could get another 10. You could have a 24 power shot with the sphere shot. That's insane.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's not a bad backup if you don't get the eject shot for whatever reason.
Yeah, that's awesome. But the cool shit happens at 3 minutes into halftime, or the second part of this game, right? So at the 3 minute mark, the screen like prematurely kind of fades out a little bit, and then it comes up into a cutscene, and the fans are like screaming, right? Like all the people in the crowd are like chanting and stuff like that, and the announcer says,
"The fans are getting impatient. They're calling for some action."
And then you realize they're chanting Waka.
Whoa.
Yeah, they're like Waka, Waka. And the announcer even says, "Everybody seems to be calling for Waka, folks." And like Titus just kind of like looks like he sighs, but again, they're all underwater. So
this happens if you're falling behind. This cutscene will actually vary depending on what your score is right now.
Really?
Yeah, so if you aren't scoring, the Aurochs spirits are fading quickly. Are they going down without a fight? Is what they'll say if you're like losing.
Wow.
But if you're tying, if you tie after falling behind, if nothing's happening after a long time, they'll basically start chanting.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
But if you're taking the lead, it says the crowd is cheering for the Aurochs. Isn't this exciting?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was still at 0-0 at this point, and the thing that I got was the fans are getting impatient. They're calling for some action because I was just trying to get ready to do that. Or I think this might have been after I failed the eject shot. So I was just kind of like, just swimming around trying to figure out something else to do. I was like, oh, God.
So here's the thing. If you're truly brave and you fail the eject shot, you do get one more chance, I would say, coming up here, because I've won the game in the last 2 minutes before with a score of 1.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But Titus will swim off at that point. He kind of like I said, it looks like he's sighing, and he swims off. The announcer says,
"Say, where is that player going?"
"He's leaving the sphere pool. He may be injured."
You're still that guy. No one ever addresses your name.
Yeah, right. You have a textless, dialogueless, quick scene where it just looks like Titus is standing in front of Waka, and you just see Waka walking away from him, and then Waka fucking jumps into the sphere pool, baby.
Yep.
We also get some narration from Titus. He says,
"To be honest, I did kind of feel left out. But it really was the Aurochs and Waka show after all."
And like the announcer's like, "What's going on? The crowd is going wild. It's Waka. He's back on the field and ready to go. The Aurochs seem to be glad to have him back." I totally get it, right? Like, even if a team I like was like going against, like, imagine like a team that we like going against like a little league team, but the little league team is like a score up and they like may have a chance. I'd be like,
yeah,
this team had better fucking win. This is incredible. Like,
Yeah.
we're seeing some real shit. So like, I totally get the fans' excitement over being like, yo, the team that's never won might fucking win the championship. That's insane. So like I said, man, I'm kind of like, as a player, I'm kind of getting caught up in the hype of it. I'm like, yeah, Waka, here comes Waka. Like, I think this is done really, really well. So like, I'm getting hyped up as a player to this game right now. I'm like, oh. But yeah, so Waka has, what is it, Venom Shot? Is that the name of it? Poison Shot?
Yes, Venom Shot, yeah.
Venom Shot. So Venom Shot is 16 shot, I think, if I remember right.
Yeah, Waka actually has a higher base shoot than Titus by 1 point, I think. And then Venom Shot adds some number.
Yeah. So I think that if you're tied or you think you may be able to take it and you're already this far into it, you may be able to score with Waka. I've definitely had the game be 1-1 before and then won it using Waka's Venom Shot.
Yeah, so back when I used to speedrun it, this was actually usually the strat, was to wait for Waka. Because we didn't want to, back then it wasn't thought that taking the time to level up Titus was worth it. So usually what you would do is you would just try to hold on to 0-0 until Waka shows up and then try to get the Venom Shot in for the win right before the game ends.
Gotcha. Yeah,
and
so
then,
like,
and then usually if you whatchamacallit, if you fall behind, you just give up, because like the reward you get from it does make the speedrun a lot faster. And if you're a top level runner these days, you need to win Blitzball to like.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because your stats are going to be.
You can do the run without it, but the reward is a big enough deal to make a meaningful difference.
Right. Yeah. So speaking of which, I guess is that Blitzball?
That's Blitzball. For me, I was still at 0-0 when Waka came in, and then I'll give you one guess who was able to score a goal.
Oh, was it Bickson?
It was Bickson.
Motherfucker.
Bickson scored, and I lost the match.
No.
Yeah.
I do know that if it is drawed, you can go into sudden death.
Ooh.
Yeah,
First person
overtime.
score. Yeah.
You never
first
won
person.
overtime in a speedrun.
Yeah, no, I would say
horrible.
not. But yeah, I think it's just first the score, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, no, I think it is. Yeah.
That sounds about right.
I would imagine that that's how it is, and yeah, for a speedrun, that probably really sucks because like
It's
you
just
can't.
extra dead time. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to wait until either you can score, which is a lot of RNG, or for them to score, which like you can kind of lay back a little bit, but like you can't. If it's tied, you can't actually like just quit.
Right. I guess you could like restart the speed run.
Yeah.
There's no. Yeah. There's no forfeiting the match. No.
Yeah. But yeah, so if you do win, you get the strength sphere,
Ooh.
which you can pop into your sphere grid for a +4 strength, which is significant.
It's it's a big deal.
Especially right now in the game, like where we may have only taken like 1 or 2 strength spheres the entire game thus far, and like each of those are like +1 or +2, and that's it.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're essentially like doubling or more our level as far as strength goes.
That's awesome.
In one get, if we get that strength sphere. What do you get if you lose?
You get a cutscene where all the fans in the stands look pretty bummed out, and it says the Aurochs may have lost the game, but what a way to go. And then it just says save current game.
I guess that's true. What a way to go. You made it to the championship match. And
Yeah.
You won your first game.
And like the most unexpected thing, even more so than like you guys winning a game, is that everyone in Luca was cheering for you and for Waka.
Yeah, so there is a little bit of like a kind of silver lining to it, right? That like even if Waka didn't go out as a champion, he at least went out as like the main fucking attraction, like the hero of the day. You know what I mean?
He has a nice way to end his career.
Right. And if you win, the announcer says, "Unbelievable. The Aurochs win, folks. This is one for the record books." And then it goes to save the game, which is where we're going to stop today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is there anything else we want to say about Blitzball? I think we pretty well covered it.
There's 2 quick things that I wanted to mention with regards to Waka showing up 3 minutes in to the second half. So one of them is my personal anecdote of my first playthrough, which when that happened, when the cutscene started out of nowhere, is when I was doing the eject shot.
No!
And it doesn't let it go through. It cuts you off. And,
my God.
To be entirely honest, I had no idea what I was doing in that game. I was going to lose no matter what. I had not scored. I was like 4 points down. I was getting my butt kicked. But it was about the principle of the thing, man.
Okay,
yeah,
I was
sure.
about to finally get it in. Titus was doing the spinny thing, and then bam. And I'm like, God damn it, Waka.
I wasn't going to say this to like to make my own.
Snoozers.
I was going to make my own self feel cool by not saying this. But do you know what was happening when 3 minutes happened for me? Fucking Bickson was shooting and it cut him off. I was like, get wrecked, Bickson. Because like I hadn't scored yet because I had scored. I had scored and then Bickson got the ball and I was like, no, I just need to get hands on it, get behind the goalie. That's all I want to do. And I was like, oh, I'm fucked. And he kicked it for a goal or whatever. And as it was traveling, the 3-minute cutscene happened, and I was like, yeah, get wrecked, Bickson.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh my God. Could you imagine like in any other sport, like the ball's in the air and you fucking call timeout?
Doesn't count,
It's like a grand slam in baseball, like bases are loaded, fucking it's clearly going, and you're like, timeout.
Didn't count. We got to bring Waka in.
Yeah. So good. Okay.
So-
Anecdote 2. Yeah.
Yeah, this one's not as much an anecdote as it is a sick speedrun strat. The
I
last
love
one
them.
that I haven't talked about with regards to Blitzball, and this is called the Blitz off skip. This is something that people started seriously doing in runs a couple of years ago. So, when you score, it goes back to the scoreboard updates, and then the ball shoots from the middle again, and then after a goal, it's not random. The opposing team gets the ball, right?
Right.
So during that whole animation, the timer isn't running, and basically the whole time, if you're doing a speed run, you want the timer to be running the whole time, right?
Yeah.
And also, like a lot of animations don't have the timer running, like during tackles and such, so you want to minimize all that. But so the Blitz off skip is a really interesting thing where you try to, the goal of the speedrun strat is to win 1-0, right?
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
If you score right as the fade out at 3 minutes is happening,
Oh my
the
god.
fade out is already in progress, but it will count the goal even though you don't get to see any of the animation of like the scoreboard updating and all that.
That's brilliant.
And you
don't-
skip
yeah.
the extra blitz off that you would get after scoring. So that's something that saves, I think I've heard it saves like 17 seconds or something.
Oh, wow.
And it's pretty precise to get. Like, you really need to know what you're doing to do that, because it is a tight window.
Yeah, I'd say so, because like those animations are not short. They're complicated. There's a lot going on with them.
Yeah.
That's
Flashy.
amazing.
So if you watch the world record, you can see that he does get the blitz off skip.
That's awesome.
that's
Who
so
does
awesome.
have the world record? Do you know right off?
I know for the original PS2 version, the record is currently held by Close to War,
Okay.
who's a really, really, really skilled RPG runner.
I think they have a couple of games. Yeah, that I've seen. They have
Yeah, he
scores
also
on.
runs some Dragon Quest stuff, I think.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
RPG runners,
very
man.
good.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's an incredible strat. Like oh boy,
That's galaxy brain shit.
that is some
That is
galaxy
the
brain
ultimate
shit.
Chad strat.
Hey, yeah. Man, oh man. All right, man. Fucking Blitzball, y'all.
Yeah, that's all
Okay,
I
let's
got.
go around the room. Opinion on Blitzball, Carl.
When I was going through the tutorial, I was like, this is a really cool take on a sports game. It's like a JRPG turn-based kind of take on like NBA Jam. Like, I'm really excited to play it. Sounds like it's really cool. Then when I was playing it, I completely forgot like everything until like halfway through and like completely just fumbled and lost. And I was like, I feel like this would be really fun and I probably could get really into it, but I feel like the time investment that it would take me to get good enough to like it is probably very unlikely for me to do.
How about you, Alex? What do you think?
It's okay.
This time, I appreciated it more than I usually have. And I think the thing was, I was like, okay, I'm going to look at this just purely from a mechanical standpoint and not the standpoint of the first game I have to play is against a wildly over-leveled team, like where I'm like clearly the underdog. And I get that, again, that works for the plot line, right? That
Yeah.
like, it would be crazy if the Aurochs won. Why would they win? They've never won. So it makes sense. But that aside, I think it's actually a pretty good game. I think that there's a lot going on, and it makes sense that it's a game we can pretty much play any time after this and like sink some time into. And I think I might this time. I've never gotten into Blitzball to actually get everything. Like, I just keep Waka's fucking limit break the whole game. I guess we should say that, by the way. Playing Blitzball is how you unlock Waka's other limit breaks. Which actually, if he's quitting Blitzball, what sense does it make that he then just continues to play Blitzball?
It's the love of the game. It's like the Rolling Stones are like, we're retiring.
If you play with the Aurochs after this point, you actually won't have Waka in the team. He won't be there.
Oh, really?
You can later on. So there's a whole mechanic about like recruiting other players, and you can get Waka to come back. But by default, he's not on your team after the Goers game.
Well, I love that consistency. How about that?
Oh, awesome.
That's very well done.
They should update it for 14.
Blitzball in 14?
Yeah.
Oh, they should put Blitzball in 14. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think Blitzball's in 14.
I was saying, like,
They need to patch it.
Yeah. No, actually, that would be fucking dope as fuck. You'd have like your character or whatever swimming around playing Blitzball. That would be dope as fuck. You hear that, Square Enix?
They've added all the other. They've added triple triad.
Triple triads in there, yeah.
Oh
yeah.
hell yeah!
I
I feel like with the first match against the Goers is like, did they just like have a team at From Software do it where they're like, okay, this is the first game, so it's the first like boss encounter of this, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to take it easy on the first. Like, they have to earn a victory.
It's like the
against this
Demon Souls one. You're just expected to lose.
Yeah, where you get kind of a reward for it, but I mean, later on in FromSoft games, they're like, nah, you can do that, but it doesn't give you anything.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it's awesome. So I enjoyed Blitzball this time. I think I'm gonna put a little bit more time into it as we play this season, and try to get more of the content out of it. I will say, and this is lame. I'm sure a lot of real good Blitzballsmen will make fun of me for this, but I put a lot of hours into Final Fantasy X2's Blitzball because I was like, oh wait, I don't have to play it. I just get to watch it happen and then make decisions about it. I like that a lot better.
Oh, interesting. So it's like the Chocobo races.
Yeah, it's like you just kind of are like, all right, team, you do this, you do that, you do this. And then you just sit back and see if they did it.
Oh, nice. That's interesting.
It's
You're
like
a coach.
It's when Homer's coaching fucking Bart's football team, and he's like, "You run to the side. You vibrate this way. You just spin around in tiny circles." Which in this game they could do if you get behind the goalie. Yeah. So that's all I got about Blitzball.
And that's that. It's the last time we'll ever have to play it.
It is the last time you'll ever have to play it. Have to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So long.
But you can play it after this at any save point.
Interesting.
Oh, nice.
So we'll get more into that next episode. Next episode or the one after that, depending on how we break it up.
Right.
But I guess I should go ahead and say what we're going to do next episode then. So it's important to note that as soon as they either announce that the Aurochs won or lost, it immediately gives you a save point, like right there.
Yeah.
And that's where we're saving at and quitting because the story picks right the fuck up. Like there is no downtime. So we're going to start from that save point and get to where we leave Luca. Maybe talk about the first screen of the next area. So it'll be a short one, but there's a lot to talk about. That's the thing. Is like the gameplay is like 10 minutes long, right? But there's going to be some shit that we have to go over on the next episode. So if you're playing along at home, play that section, talk to all the NPCs, go look all those scenes up on YouTube and read about them because we're going to fucking cut into that cake. It's going to be a very funny episode. We might have a couple ha-has.
Might have a couple laughs.
Might have a couple laughs. A couple ha-ha-has.
A T or he.
A T or he, possibly. We might learn a little bit of something about ourselves along the way and a little bit of something about our dad as well.
You're just writing the episode description.
Yeah. But Mrzwanzig, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I really had a blast with this.
Awesome. I'm glad.
I know it's like midnight over there, so thanks again.
Yeah.
It's actually 1. It's
Oh no, you got to be at work at 8. Is that what you said?
It's fine. I'll be fine.
Oh god.
No sleep till
But yeah,
Blitzball.
no, I think it's an interesting episode to pull me on for because it was like a lot of mechanics talk.
Yeah.
Which,
It's like
Yeah.
learning a whole new game.
Also, I just remember in our Discord one time I was like trashing on Blitzball, and I just remember you being like, "Well, at least it's not just fucking press X to win like Chocobo Hot and Cold." And I was like,
really,
"How dare you know I love that game?"
Number go up.
Yeah.
Number go up. I love number go up.
I just take every opportunity to jump on Chocobo Hot and Cold. And, like, anybody who knows me will tell you this.
Maybe we can get you back on for that episode.
Please,
So like,
no, please don't. Get somebody who likes it.
all right, man. Well, let's see here. Do you have anything you want to plug? Tell us where we can find you. Where can we like watch your sick fucking speedruns?
I am Mr. Mrzwanzig. That is the German word for 20. Even though I'm actually Dutch. Yeah, on both Twitch and Twitter. You will see me in the near future probably not doing a lot of FF-related stuff, honestly, because actually my PS3 has been having some issues with running 13. My for some reason, I think my HDD might be dying, so
oh no.
my load times are suddenly really long. And I was kind of getting burn out on a little bit again anyway. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
doing some other stuff. I stream a lot of I Want to Be the Guy fan games.
Oh yeah.
I'm focusing a lot on
Man.
that right now. I know
Fucking,
Carl saw me play a little bit of that the other day.
Yeah.
yeah, but that's gonna be great. Follow Mr. Mrzwanzig. Also, aren't you like the keeper of the Final Fantasy speedrun Discord?
Yeah, I mean, I don't brag about that because honestly, I don't do that much work on it. It was just a matter of like when Discord was first getting big and like IRC was dying off. I was like, we should really make a Discord because like we should have like a central place for people to talk. And there were like 5 other people there, and nobody else wanted to do it. So I was just like, I guess I'll do it. And I mean,
Well, it's
yeah.
legendary to me.
I mean, like a lot of the channels are pretty dead because a lot of games have their own Discords. Like most of them do by
Right.
this point, because like there's, you know, it's such a big thing, Final Fantasy, that like to just have like one channel for each game is potentially not enough for a lot of them.
Or if you speed run SNES games, you can have one channel for the 3 for the 3 of those.
Yeah, but it's only ever FF5 talk.
It really is. It really is. Yo, I'm gonna do 4 and 6. I'm gonna do it.
Hell
Mark
yeah.
my words. I'm going to learn 4 and 6.
Did you finish 8?
I finished it for now, man. like I was like, look, I may be last place on the fucking HD console one, but there's only 4 people on there, and I'm like 5 minutes away from
Top
PlayStation.
5.
Top 4. Woo!
Yeah. So I was like, look, it's fine because the thing is like that takes all day. I could do like 2 FF5 runs in that span of time.
Oh boy.
So, all right. Well, Alex, would you like to
Throw us
drown us in a throw us into the deep end?
That's a good one.
Which end? It's a sphere. It doesn't have any ends.
The exact center.
All ends are the deep end.
At the Blitz off point, I don't know.
Yeah.
Thanks again to Night of the Round for for doing the theme music this season. It's awesome. Feature music is by Nobuo Uematsu, Masashi Hamauzu, and Junya Nakano. Leave us a review on iTunes. That's super helpful. We are every FNFF on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and we have a Discord, which you can find in our Twitter description.
Yes.
We got a new shirt by Maiko again, so
Yeah.
go check that out. It's really
I bought
cute.
a coffee mug with that on there. We'll post that on our Instagram and Twitter.
Cool. Yeah, I think that'll do it. We will see you.
Give us a phone call at 530-MATERIA.
Leave us your laughs.
Leave us your
Yeah,
oh
leave
my
us your
God,
best laugh.
leave us your laughs. Leave us your best laughs.
If you know, you know. After next week, everyone will know.
after next week you'll know. Okay, okay, you're not gonna have much. Oh wait, hold on. You won't really have any time, so never mind.
That's
But go
fine.
ahead and do it anyway.
But thank you again. This was one of the. We will.
Yeah.
And to everyone else, Merry Christmas.
If someone's listening on Christmas Day for some reason, like in the future, they'll be like, "What the fuck?"
Like have the name of the person. They're like Todd,
Christopher.
Lloyd.
You know what? The bit has changed. I would now like to wish Merry Christmas.
Good morning to
Christopher Lloyd. I don't know how they found me, but they found me.
Run for it, Marty! Who? Who do you think? The Libyans!